After the COVID-19 lockdowns in 2020, I think we've all been wondering as we head into 2021, what's going to happen in the real estate market, specifically here in Cincinnati. And we're starting to see what's happening, and it's actually a huge shift in the market, and it's going to affect buyers and sellers, and it's already in effect right now. So in a couple minutes, I'm going to share with you what that huge shift is and what you need to do if you're planning to buy, sell, or if you're buying and selling at the same time, regardless of what you're doing with your move. You're going to learn here in a couple minutes what you need to do to take advantage of or to navigate the current market conditions that are very difficult and very different than what you may have experienced in the past, even recently. So first, let's take a look at the numbers here. Let's get an update here on the real estate news here in Cincinnati. We're going to take a look at the numbers for this past week compared to last year, and then we'll jump into what's shifting in the market and what you can do whether you're buying or selling. So first off, this week compared to the same week last year, new listings are up 43%. Now that is a huge jump. If you've been watching past weeks, you notice we've been increasing maybe 2% per week compared to last year, and I've been warning you or letting you know, predicting that we're going to have a huge jump here as we go through April and May, because not so much that we're having a huge rush of listings, but because compared to last year with the lockdowns due to COVID, we actually saw 30 to 40% drops in number of new listings in April of last year. So as we're comparing this year to last year, right now we're up 43%. This is the first big jump we've had, and that's going to continue to happen as we do have a healthy amount of inventory coming into the market. And compared to last year when everything was just completely at a standstill in terms of new listing inventory, at least in April and May. Closings compared to the same time last year are actually completely unchanged almost. It's 0.25% drop, so there's really nothing to talk about there. There's about the same amount of activity this time of year in terms of closings as there were last year. I think we're going to see that number is going to increase compared to last year. That number of the closings does lag about 60 to 90 days behind new listings, so we'll see the jump in closings coming a little bit later than we're seeing the jump in new listings, again, compared to last year. So average sale price is steady. It's up 11% again compared to last year. So if you're selling your home this year, good news, you're going to sell for 11% more than you did last year, and that's only in 1 year. We've been seeing that consistently, double-digit growth, which is absolutely ridiculous. If you have owned a home for a long time, you know that's not typical. Maybe 4 or 5%, maybe we keep pace with inflation, maybe a little better. Double-digit growth week after week, month after month, year after year is pretty wild. So that's what we're experiencing right now. Average days on market compared to last year, we're down 47%. That's pretty typical for what we've been seeing. So houses right now are on average sitting on the market 16 days. That includes listings that are overpriced and not marketed properly, and maybe they're not showing because they have tenants in them or things like that. That's why they're sitting on the market longer. But if we look at the median, which means the very middle of the market, it's only 2 days. So that means half of the listings in Cincinnati are selling faster than 2 days, and half of them are taking more than 2 days. So the median in this case is actually probably more of what you're experiencing if you're keeping an eye on the market. 2 days on the market is about what we're seeing. Inventory has actually ticked up another 1/10 of a month. That sounds like almost nothing, but any additional inventory, and certainly we've seen in the last week with a 43% jump compared to last year, we are seeing increases in inventory, which is great news for buyers. It's not a big deal for sellers because we still have, as we'll see in a minute here, plenty of factors that are making it very much a seller's market. But in terms of looking at the buyer side of things, a little bit more choice is definitely welcome from buyers. We're still 3 1/3 months short of what we would need for buyers and sellers to be on an equal playing field. So still very much a seller's market. And so, according to the numbers that we just discussed, it does sound like inventory is increasing, buyers have a little bit more choice. So the takeaway we would have here is that maybe the market's shifting towards buyers. Maybe they have more time to find a home, they have more options. That seems to be what the numbers here are indicating. But what's not included in the numbers that we just looked at are how many buyers there are in the marketplace right now. Unfortunately, we don't have very good data in the MLS or really anywhere else that is compiled as far as how many buyers are looking online, whether it's on an app or through the MLS, and how many buyers are getting pre-approved, how many are just starting their search. We don't really know. We could certainly try to piecemeal that data from a lot of different sources like mortgage lenders, other national sources, but to really get Cincinnati data, it's very difficult to determine just how many buyers are out there and how does that compare to last week and last month and last year. So the way we kind of determine that is just based on what's happening in the market. And I can tell you from personal experience on the front lines working with buyers and sellers, there are more buyers shopping for a house right now than we've ever seen before. I've been doing this for 7 years. It's crazier than I've ever seen. I've talked to colleagues that have been doing this for 30 years. They've never seen anything like it. Now, we've been hearing that the market's crazy and they've never seen anything like it, but that's really been in terms of inventory. We've seen inventory increase from the beginning of this year from less than 2 months to now it's over 2.5 months. So we would think that would relieve some of that pressure. But what we're not accounting for in this seller data that we get from the MLS is buyer data. And so we're experiencing the fact that there's so many more buyers on the market right now than there were last year. And it does make common sense if you think about it. So last year, if you were thinking about moving and then the COVID pandemic hits, unless you absolutely have to move, you're probably not going to do anything. You're not going to go shopping for a house with a mask on or worry about getting the virus when there's no vaccine or something like that. There's no reason to risk all of that trouble, or even if you're worried about your health, you don't need to worry about that and shop for a home when you're in the middle of a pandemic. So it makes sense that many people weren't shopping then. And then as they progress throughout the year and they're working from home and their kids are taking school at home, that they're becoming more and more uncomfortable in their home. They're looking at all the flaws in the home. They're thinking about different updates they can make. They're wanting more space because their kids are doing school from home and they're working from home. They may need a whole other room or maybe more than one to accommodate their changing needs. So plenty of people have been thinking about moving and have actually been encouraged to move because of being locked down in their homes for most of 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And now that people are getting vaccinated, people are feeling more comfortable to get out in the marketplace, we're seeing a flood of buyers. Again, none of the numbers I share with you have really anything to do with the number of buyers, but this is what we're experiencing. This is what I'm telling you based on my experience, and if you've been shopping, you've certainly seen the effects of that as well. And if you're selling, you've seen it as well. So although the inventory is slowly increasing, it's absolutely overwhelmed right now by the number of buyers we have. In fact, many listings are now giving buyers a deadline to submit an offer. They're saying we're showing starting on this date, and then tomorrow at 5 p.m. we're making a final decision, which seems crazy in normal market conditions. Again, we've never seen this before, at least not this often. It seems to be the norm now that as we're listing, we're also having to communicate with buyers that we know we're going to get multiple offers, we know we're going to get over list price, we know we're going to have people begging for the house, so here's how this is going to work, and here's when you need to submit your offer by. So it's not the friendly conversation or marketing that you typically see trying to encourage buyers to come see it and write an offer, if they're motivated to do so. It's kind of an assumption that the sellers are going to get multiple offers and the buyers are kind of going to have to just beg for it. So whether you're on either side of that or you're just jumping in, you'll see that that's definitely the case. It's not just me that's experiencing it. It's industry-wide right now. It's actually been like this in other markets like Columbus, Ohio, and other states throughout the country much sooner than it's actually hitting here. So it's actually hitting our area a little bit later than what I've been hearing. I've actually heard in Texas this was happening a couple years ago. So we're certainly experiencing a flood of buyers, which is totally shifting the market. So in addition to outrageous prices that sellers are getting, many buyers are having, in order to compete, to waive inspections, to waive appraisal, to agree to cover what's called an appraisal gap, which is the difference between the appraised value and the purchase price if that comes up, if the appraisal comes in low after their offer is accepted. They're also offering to pay the seller's closing costs. They're giving the sellers occupancy or letting them live in their house after closing to move out. Anything buyers can do, again, to beg for the house. They're trying to win the bid in multiple offers in almost every case, as long as the house is competitively priced and marketed properly. So I hope this information has been helpful for you. If you do have any questions or you want some advice, feel free to schedule a call. There's a link in the description there, calendly.com/PatrickGrosser/call. It'll be a 15-minute call or less. We can have an initial discussion about what your needs are and whether or not I can help you. Again, I've mentioned a couple times here, I can't help everybody. There is a huge influx of buyers, and that's what most people are trying to do first. So most people, even if they are going to be selling, are looking to buy first. So I'll be forthright with you. If you're in an area that I don't service very often, or if what you're looking for is it's not something I can help you with because I just don't have the bandwidth right now and I'm working with too many people or something like that, I will be totally honest with you and let you know. The worst case scenario, we have a quick conversation and we determine that I can't help you but somebody else can. Or best case scenario, maybe we find a good fit. Maybe it's something that I can definitely help you with and we can help you find something off market to buy, and we can help you with target marketing to sell for top dollar. If you are not ready to talk right now, that's totally fine too. You can go ahead and send a private message through my Facebook page. And don't forget to like this post if you think this information is helpful and you want to see more like it. You can also follow my business page on Facebook and turn on notifications to make sure you don't miss anything in the future. I do educational videos twice a week on the real estate market, and I also share some tips for buyers and sellers on how they can achieve their goals given the market conditions. So that's always changing. I'm always providing new, fresh tips on what we can do as buyers and sellers to win in this market. Also, feel free to comment if you have a topic that you'd like for me to cover that I haven't covered already. I take those into account and I try to get those done in the future too. And also, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel if you'd like to see all the videos at once and really get educated on the market and on some of these tips on how you can achieve your goals right now in the real estate market. You can also turn on notifications there so you get notifications of new videos that are coming out as well. I did provide the fourth link there in the description is a link to my YouTube channel, so that's easy to find as well. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.